Hey guys, so welcome to another episode of the High Ticket Coaching and Consultant Strategy and Growth Show. So my name is Extus Justin, and today we have our guest Dannella Burnett. Hey Dannella, welcome.
Thank you, Extus. Thank you for having me here today.
Awesome, you're welcome. So tell us, Dannella, what is it that you do?
Well, we are an full service event production company. So we help event hosts who are looking to make an impact, grow their community, and make profit. And
Hmm.
we also support speakers in getting out into events and into the right opportunities in front of the right audience.
Yeah, perfect.
Now, of course, we're doing that much more virtually than we've done in the past.
Yeah, definitely. And we met through is it Victor? We met through Victor, right?
Yep. Victor is actually one of our clients. So
Hmm.
we help, Victor get on stages, and Victor is one of those who his business lives much more so in the virtual world. But we need to get him out in front of new audiences, whether it be at live events or virtual events, for him to grow his business and leads and so forth. So, yeah, we did meet through Victor. He's a great guy.
Yeah, he definitely is. I think I was on a show well, really last week, really. Um,
Okay.
Perfect. Now, the question, would you consider what you do a type of consultant?
Yes, definitely. A
Mhm.
consulting and a service.
Yeah. Okay. So how did you get started with doing this?
Well, it's been a long, progressive road. It started when I was 9. I saw Julia Child on TV,
Hmm.
and I told my parents I wanted to be the next Julia Child. I just loved food. I loved her. And so I spent the next couple of years making all sorts of, culinary creations in the kitchen. Did go on to culinary school, worked with a family friend who was a caterer in high school, and when I got out of culinary school, I managed restaurants and owned restaurants in the DC area. And it went from the cooking to a real love for special events. And a lot of those events were more personal in nature, weddings or reunions. But I loved the idea of starting from nothing but a vision and making it happen. And I got that out of doing special events, and special events led to corporate events. And for the last 8 years, we've been working predominantly on the national level and very much with entrepreneurs and experts in sales and fulfillment events, events meant to make profit, events meant to grow community. So it's been quite a progression of, where I started, but at the heart of it all, it's about events and the magic that comes to, when we come together.
Hmm. Okay, good. And so I guess COVID-19 has definitely shifted things for you, right? Since it hit.
Without a doubt. Not only, my business, which was, we certainly did some things virtual, but we focused on live events. But then here locally in Georgia, we also own a tent and event rental company. So both of our businesses were affected pretty quickly, um, pretty strongly.
Hmm.
Fortunately, we've both been able, in both businesses, we've made, great pivots, and both businesses are actually thriving in this, virtual reality. But it was definitely a switch.
Yeah, awesome. And I guess you're seeing it with clients as well too. They've also made that shift, right? So they're all looking to get online, trying to figure out, okay, how does this now work in the online space, right?
Exactly. And the good thing is most of our event clients and some new event clients are realizing that in the virtual space, while you might not be dealing with a hotel or some of the physical vendors that you dealt with, you still need that event production company to support the event. And in some ways, you need it even more in the virtual space, just to make sure, that things are operating the way that they should. Because, as you well know, there's a lot that can go awry with technology and doing things live and bringing things together, and especially when all of your people are scattered, all over the world or all over the country.
Right.
And so, yeah, it's been interesting, and our clients have shifted, and using the power of virtual, the virtual world right now. And, those that are shifting, it's working.
Yeah, awesome. So what in this essence, because it seems like you're an entrepreneur, got into the coach or consultant service based business model. Have you would you consider yourself an entrepreneur? Have you always considered yourself then?
I've always had even when I worked for other people, I always seem to have kind of a side something going on, that I enjoyed doing on my own. But yeah, I've been a full-time entrepreneur and business owner for the last 13 years. And I've joked that I'm probably unemployable at this point. I do I definitely like my freedom. As entrepreneurs, what's the saying that we're the only ones who will work 80 hours so that we don't work 40 hours for someone else.
I love that one. That is so true. Yes, yeah. And so next question becomes, because you've built a pretty successful business within the event planning, event sponsoring space and stuff like that. What would you say is one of the keys to your success in terms of how you're able to achieve what you've done?
A lot of what I do is connections and being open to the possibilities and open to opportunities. In the event world, there's a lot of joint ventures, there's a lot of understanding, what people's goals are. And I'm a firm believer that, if you have a goal and I have a goal, and if we are willing to be creative and we're willing to be transparent about what we're looking to accomplish together, we can probably both get ahead. We can probably both do more. So, I have a very big collaborative spirit and a very big connecting spirit. And I think that's had a lot to do with the opportunities that have been brought to me that
Hmm.
I've had, the
Oh, I think you just want to mute there.
sorry about that.
Oh, did you have a remote? How did that happen? Do you have a remote or something?
No, I'm on my phone on my Zoom, and I
Hmm.
had a call try to come in.
Oh, got you, got you. Okay.
Yeah, I don't normally do Zoom on my phone, and I didn't make myself unavailable.
Yes, yes. The beauties of quarantine life, right?
Exactly. Always
Yeah.
technology. I've got the laptop, the PC, the phone, and my internet is actually currently out. I have killed the modem, and they're
Hmm.
coming to replace it in about an hour or so.
Yeah, yeah. Life without the internet in today's day and age is like it's one of those places where how do you even survive, right?
I don't know. And I've got two kids who are doing school from home. So yesterday we were sharing the hotspot on my phone. So I'll be glad when they come and they replace the modem today so we can all get back to work.
Yes, yes, love it, love it. Okay, so now in essence, so the event planner, that's just your model, right? That's just what you've kind of led with, right? And I
Mhm.
believe, yeah, what you said in terms of a collaboration, synergy, finding individuals who have, they each have goals, but then they could see how they could explore different ways where those goals, individual goals, if they get together in some type of, whether it's a joint venture, collaboration type of process, they could definitely help each other get to that next level pretty fast. I see you're a firm believer in that, and it's definitely shown in your level of success. Now, with joint ventures, right? So, in terms of because I haven't heard of joint ventures in the event planning space, but what does a joint venture typically look like in that space?
It could be if you are an event host, you
Hmm.
could connect and partner and do an event together with someone else. Maybe you both serve the same audience or a similar audience, but if you come together, you're now promoting to two groups of people to bring them together. For example, maybe you could be somebody who helps speakers write books, and you could partner with somebody who helps speakers, get out on stages. So that could be a good collaboration where what you're doing has synergy, but you're not providing the same service to similar people.
Hmm.
So you might partner and do a workshop together or do an event together. So if you serve a similar audience, or you could do very, very different things. but you want to get into each other's audience. We've been making those recommendations throughout this time in the virtual space to swap, the opportunity to do lives. For example, you've invited me on here to talk with you. It would be a great partnership for me to say, hey, come over and talk in front of my people. What you do and what I do is not in competition with each other. So let's share our audiences, let's share each other, and let's create this partnership where we work together. And
Mm-hmm.
that could be in an event, it could be a package that you put together. Maybe the person who helps a speaker and the person who helps an expert write a book, maybe you put a package together, and that's the joint venture that you sell a package and you each do a different level of fulfillment.
Yeah, love it. What about your background in terms, would you say you are pretty in marketing? What are your thoughts on marketing? Is this something you love or something you don't like? What are your thoughts?
I think marketing for me just kind of evolved naturally. For a long time, I didn't consider myself, in marketing, but then I looked at the things that I did, and in those connections and in sharing, a lot of marketing is the sharing. Now, some of the more detailed aspects of marketing, I'm certainly not an expert on Facebook ads or, you know, some of the more technical skills that you
Mhm.
need, but certainly understanding how marketing is sharing and bringing people either to your point of view or to your opportunity or to your event. It's about getting the information out there. So,
Yeah.
I've definitely become a marketer, and I love affiliate marketing. I mean, I love sharing other people. A lot of what I do that is bringing speakers or sponsors into an event, it's a type of affiliate marketing where by my making those connections, that's what I'm getting paid for, is making those connections, and the deal that gets done, I get a percentage of that. So,
Hmm.
I definitely love that model as well.
Yeah. Now, what about when it comes to the event side of things? So individuals who want, where do you start off with individuals? Do they start off from just having an idea for wanting to get into hosting an event, and you guys help them through the entire planning process to get it from idea to actual successful launch of the event?
Yeah, I've told people we can handle everything from the brainstorm to the bank and
Hmm.
everything in between. It really does have to start with a conversation, because every event client that we work with is coming from a different place. They may have different team available to support that vision.
Right.
They may have no team. So it's always important to start with the conversation and see what their vision is. And we do have a process that we go through that we call the event navigator, where
Hmm.
we start from what is that vision and getting that vision very, very clear, and then going through the full process, making sure that event makes sense on paper from a budget standpoint. Where is the revenue going to come from? Where are expenses going to be spent? How is that event going to be marketed? What are the goals? If something is being sold at that event, does that make sense? How many people need to be there? Are you bringing in outside speakers, outside vendors, sponsors? We go through the whole scope of that event to make sure that it's going to be a good fit for that client, as well as give them, practical experience and information to make good decisions.
Hmm. Lovely. Um, so what about mistakes wise? So someone who's planning an event or someone who's considering planning an event, have you noticed any mistakes? Let's say they just try to go do it on their own, that it just ends up being really, really costly.
Very costly. I liken it to, we don't do as many weddings anymore. Occasionally we'll do a wedding, by referral, but I used to talk with brides all the time, and a bride might have been thinking about her wedding, since she was a young girl, but she has a vision of the end result. She really doesn't have a comprehension of all of the things that have to take place prior to getting that end result. And so if you move that into the business space and that event, a client might have a vision for that end result. Maybe it's a full room where they're sharing their message, and maybe it's a message of inspiration or hope, or education or training or ways to make more money, whatever that message is that they're looking to share and get out there and have an impact and have profit. It doesn't mean that they're aware of all the things that need to take place beforehand. And many, many event hosts have lost their shirt and their sanity, trying to do that on their own. So, my recommendation is, to meet with somebody like myself and make sure that that event makes sense, get the support that you need, and then get the results that you're looking for, because that can be the difference. And we've got countless testimonials of clients who tried to do something on their own and either lost money, or they didn't get the audience that they were looking for. They just didn't reach their goals, and then they worked with us and they had a six-figure event, and they made money and they grew their community and they made sales. So, the difference between knowing what you're doing behind the scenes and not can be very, very costly indeed.
Yeah, that's so powerful. I love what you said about the end result, because I believe it's so true. Most individuals in my audience, I typically serve coaches, consultants, help them get consistent high ticket clients, and a lot of them
Mhm.
have the vision of the amount of clients they want to sign on, the amount of money they want to make, all these different things. But then when it comes to, okay, what do you do? What's that process? Most of them don't understand what the journey is like.
Mhm.
And most of them, when they try to do it on their own, they realize like how many mistakes, how painful, and how long the process takes, versus just getting an expert and saying, hey, just tell me what to avoid, just show me how to do it, and then taking
Right.
that advice and following that. It just makes life, everything, so much smoother in a sense. Yeah.
Right. And especially if you're looking to sell a high ticket item, and you're doing a 1 or a 2 or a 3 day event, and the end result is selling a high ticket item, and be it 10,000, 20,000, 50,000, $100,000, that you're looking for somebody to invest in you. You really need to be supported when you make that ask. And you
Mhm.
can't be the one who's trying to make sure that everything is right with the hotel, and all the attendees questions are answered, about parking, or answering the vendors questions, or all of the things that lead to the energy in that room and the experience that your audience is having. You need to be focused as the event host on being the very, very best you on that stage, and being able to lay out the scenario for your audience on, this is what it will look like for you if you invest in me, in my high ticket coaching or program or practice. You can't be worried about those other things. So that's probably the biggest fatal mistake that we see, is event hosts that try to run the event from the stage. It really can't be done.
Yeah, trying to run from the stage. Yeah, that sounds like a nightmare. And I think it's just so true in all lines of business. Doesn't matter what type of coaching, consultant, service-based business you run. I definitely believe that we all have a zone of genius, something that we're good at, and we have to be able to get to a point of delegating everything else to other people. That's a lesson I learned. It took me a long time to learn, because I'm more of the type of person who says, okay, I'm just going to do everything. Like what needs to be done, I'll just do it. Even if I'm not, I'll do it. I'll figure it out. And it wasn't
Right.
until I started like switching, which is saying, okay, there's only a few things I need to focus on in my business. And just like for me, since I do the high ticket sales, I know that it's creating the marketing, generating consultations, and closing consultations. Those are the only three things, and everything else needs to be delegated, outsourced to the team, and find people that you could trust, and
Hmm.
letting them do what they do, and just being surprised at like, whoa, this is some pretty cool stuff. I'm not sure how we did it, but this is amazing. And I believe that's what getting really good people in your corner
Yep.
does. So the next question becomes, in terms of events wise, do you have any specific examples of the different types of events you've helped individuals put together?
Really everything from, a small workshop that might be to bring, help somebody do a small part, work on a specific area of their business, and then move forward into something new. So it could be something small, 20, 25 people, up to our largest event that we work on with a local mall is 175,000 people. And it's an outdoor festival, and we bring in all of the vendors and the food trucks and the alcohol service. And so, everything from 20 people up to nearly 200,000 people, and everything in between we have worked on in the last several years. And that's part of what I love, is the diversity of what we do.
Mm-hmm.
There's a heart of live events that is the same regardless of the size, regardless of whether the end result is just about bringing people together and connection, or it's about sales, or it's
Oh,
about fulfillment. There's still a magic of bringing people together and some things that are at the heart of every event. And then you layer on that, what are the goals? Is it to create an environment where people are looking to enroll and be invited into more work together? Or is this the fulfillment event where you're just looking to love on your attendees, make sure they're well taken care of? Or is it a special occasion, where again, you want to make sure that your attendees, feel loved on and have a great experience. So
mm-hmm.
like it all.
Yeah. Now, what about the team wise? Because it sounds like it definitely takes a lot of work preparation to put something like that together. What about your team? How were you able to bring your team together?
Well, sometimes our team, like we've got a strong team here in Georgia. I've got 3 people who work for me on a regular basis, and then we have about 15 people that we bring in at different times, depending on what the event is,
Mm-hmm.
whether we need people in hospitality or working registration or marketing or phone calls, help with graphics, just the behind the scenes here. We have a team. When I travel for events, sometimes that team goes with me. Sometimes we're working with the team of our clients, or we bring in people in those areas. So each event is just a little bit different. Sometimes we're working with a volunteer base, and that's always interesting, but we bring together volunteers, and we work with what our clients have to work with.
Yeah, perfect. Now, if someone wanted to get in touch with you, what's the best way for them to reach out?
Can reach out to us. I love to start with the conversation. So, getting on my calendar,
Mhm.
which is very easy, calendly.com/Dannella Burnett, just my name. But I can also be found at Encore Elite Events.com or speakersneedtospeak.com.
Mhm. Lovely, lovely. Perfect, Daniela. Well, hey, it's been a pleasure chatting with you, having this conversation with you here, and it's been a pleasure inviting you and sharing you with my audience. So, with that, before we end, do you have any final thoughts?
Um, I thank you for inviting me here today, and would love to talk with, any of your clients who are thinking about, now you've helped them get that high ticket offer. The next step, of course, is how do I share that high ticket offer? And for some, it will be an event, so I'd love to, offer the opportunity to have a conversation with your audience and see if there's a fit, see if there's, if nothing else, I know that a conversation with me will give somebody some actionable items that they can do to get that event moving forward and steered in the right direction. So love to have a conversation with your clients and give them that help that they need.
Awesome. Love it, guys. And if you're watching this either live or on the replay here, be sure I'll have all the links to Daniela's stuff right below. So you could click on the links and get connected right to her. So if you're interested in any of what she just shared with you here, be sure to reach out. Well, with that being said, Daniela, appreciate you stopping by and we shall be in touch, okay?
That sounds great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.